In today's video, we have a couple of interesting things. Firstly, we're going to talk about Giannis and his seemingly long-term plans around the NBA and what he plans to do afterwards when it comes to basketball. We're also going to talk about the Mavs extending Jason Kidd as well, which is pretty interesting news overall, and I've got a few things to say. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video here on the Basketball Bulletin. If this is your first time here, make sure you stick around by hitting that thumbs up and subscribing as well. 80% of viewers are missing out by not being subscribed to Trevor and I as we keep you guys informed with information around the NBA. Really quick also, let me know in the comments down below. I'm taking a quick video request. What is one team that we haven't covered in a while that you want to see us cover? Leave down below in the comments. We'll see if we could do something about them. Maybe they've got some news or something we could hit on, or maybe give us an idea. Like, do you want us to talk about the roster? Like, what do you want to hear? All right. That being said, let's talk about Giannis here, courtesy of Real GM. Giannis apparently plans to play 5 to 7 more NBA seasons and then return to Greece before retiring is the headline. Giannis has said he plans to play in the NBA another 5 to 8 seasons before returning to Greece to finish his basketball career before retirement. Antetokounmpo is at a career crossroad as he enters his 13th season with the Milwaukee Bucks. Can I just say, time flies, bro. Like, my God. I look at my kids. I got 2 small kids, and yeah, I'm 31. I feel like my last 10 years have shot by. I know it's probably gonna get worse as I get older. I got 2 small kids. The time goes so fast. Obviously, I'm the same age as Giannis, basically. I remember when he was drafted as a result. I remember him coming out, the talk about the Greek freak and all that stuff. And obviously social media was starting to really take off at that time. 13 years that fast, man. It doesn't feel like it's been 13. Man. Anyway, 13 years. Maybe you feel similarly. Maybe you're older, younger, etc. Let me know. But that's really cool. He's been with the Bucks for 13 years. I really would just personally like to see him end his career with the Bucks. He's already this far in. I wouldn't really want to see him leave at this point. Amidst reports, he could consider leaving the franchise via trade during the 26 offseason, depending on how competitive the team is in the Eastern Conference. I'm 30 years old. I can play in the NBA until I'm 36 or 38. I'd like to end my career in a Greek team. Why not? Antetokounmpo said on Ant1's The Tonight Show, according to a translation by Basket News. I don't want to live in the U.S. As soon as I leave the NBA, I want to return to Greece. I could end my career here, whether this team is called Philithinaikos, Olympiakos, Pathinaikos, or Ares. Hopefully I said all those right. I'm talking about all the teams now. That's interesting. His options are very open. So he's basically saying, hey, I can play till 36 to 38. After that point, I'd like to return to Greece. I think that's pretty interesting, though. Like, Luka actually said something similar, like he would like to end his career overseas as well. That's certainly pretty interesting. Now, the NBA is trying to expand out, and they're trying to grab some of these foreign teams as well as part of their league. I'm curious to see how that all plays into this, but I think for Giannis, it's more about just geographically living there. Like he's saying here, he doesn't really want to live in the U.S. He wants to go back to Greece. And I can understand that for sure, given his backstory and all that stuff. And that's really cool to hear. But it really just makes you, like I was mentioning the time piece of it earlier, it really puts all of this into perspective. Like he's saying he can only play 5 to 6 more years. Earlier today, we got a comment from Shea. He had several comments, actually. But one of the things Shea said was, he doesn't want to play once he loses a step. He's like, I know I can keep playing, and I respect people that do because they've just got a love for the game. But when I start to lose a step, I don't want to keep going. I believe Kobe said something like that once upon a time too, roughly around the time Giannis was drafted anyway. That I don't really want to keep going. Once I lose a step, I can't be me anymore. We've heard LeBron say the same thing. Like I really do understand that. I think Giannis, frankly, could play into his 40s if he wanted to. I do wonder how his game ages once he loses a step, once he's no longer able to barrel through everybody to the same efficiency as he's been able to thus far in his career. At some point, that will happen. I mean, LeBron is still, for example, able to do it to a high degree, but he's clearly lost a step. He's not able to get by defenders as easily. He has to work a little bit harder to do it, and he can still run through guys, but guys are more willing to let him try that nowadays. Like some of that's just, once you get older, it is what it is, right? So I do wonder about that piece with Giannis. Maybe later in his career, it will matter more that he hasn't turned into a great shooter. That's one thing that really, on the LeBron piece, LeBron has really developed. He's not like great or anything, but he's pretty good. I think he's really developed that part of his game, especially over the last 6, 7, 8 years. Anyway, so overall, though, really cool piece on Giannis that he plans to play in the NBA for another handful of years. And that just, I'm not really trying to fuel trade conversation or anything like that. But speaking of perspective, I mean, I can really understand why, if this is his mindset, he's like, I want to win now. Firstly, he's 30 years old. Everyone's looking at, their basketball mortality around 30 years old. They're like, I can't keep doing this for much longer. I got to get to winning. If I'm going to win as many as I want, I got to get to winning now. I got to keep my pressure on the organization. I've got to say what I've got to say. I've got to do what I've got to do to start winning, or keep winning in this case. Giannis has already won one. Let's win another one. Let's maybe win a third one. I'm sure that's how he's thinking. And I can understand why he says some of the things he says with that mindset of, I need to win. I only have so many years left, and that's going to come and go really quickly, right? Like we've been talking about, time comes and goes fast. Time waits for no man, right? So I can understand that logic too. And hopefully like I said in the beginning, hopefully I'm not fueling anything, but hopefully he decides to stay with the Bucks and they're able to figure it out. I just think it's an uphill battle because the Bucks don't have much wiggle room. The Hail Mary of getting rid of Dame's contract, but keeping it on the books will completely hamstring them for this entire time period. That's another thing. Like, this was going to be my point, but I can understand why he's said repeatedly he'll keep his options open. And if he's traded somewhere, that's not going to be for like a super long-term thing. It's going to be for maybe a handful of years at best. If he's traded somewhere or signed somewhere else when his contract ends, whatever, it's going to be for about a handful of years at best, maybe one more contract, basically. And then he's probably going to call it quits and move back. So I think that's interesting, but I can understand like that perspective. But on the Bucks piece of it all, like they are now, because of that, hamstrung for a good chunk of this. You've just got dead salary on your books that's going to make it harder for you to make moves. And they've repeatedly made heavy investments in guys and trades and things like that over the last, 6-7 years. And can they keep doing that? No, they've already depleted everything. So I do wonder about that overall, but certainly pretty interesting. We're going to get into the next piece of it here after a quick word from today's video sponsor.
Sleeper is the #1 fantasy sports app. It pays to know sports. Pick more or less on top players. Your first pick is on us, so start winning now. Play in Texas, Georgia, Minnesota, and 27 more states. Pick anytime across all sports, pregame or live. Over 10 million players are already on Sleeper. Make your picks count. Score up to 1,000 times your cash. Join today. Get up to $100 credit using code Bulletin. Call your shot on Sleeper. Download now.
All right. So getting into the Jason Kidd of it all, it's actually, thinking about, time has passed and stuff like that. It's a nice little combination. Jason Kidd, Giannis, all that stuff, from back when he used to coach the Bucks and when he wasn't coaching the Bucks and all the stuff that was out there about that. Like it's a nice little parallel. Anyway, speaking of Kidd and his contract with the team as a coach, Coach Jason Kidd has signed a multi-year extension with the Dallas Mavericks, a source confirmed to ESPN on Tuesday. The extension comes in the wake of strong interest in Kidd from the New York Knicks before they hired Mike Brown to fill their coaching vacancy. You remember that search from the Knicks early in the offseason where they didn't really have anything lined up, but they were like, we got to get rid of him. So they fire the coach, and then they're like calling everybody. Can we interview this guy? No. Can we interview this guy? No. So what was they didn't have any plan or anything. They just really wanted to get him out of there. And Kidd was one of those guys, right? And so I believe there was, maybe I'm misremembering, but there might have been another coach that instantly leveraged that into an extension. Let me know in the comments. I'd have to go back and dig it out. But Kidd is another guy that is basically turning that into an extension, like that interest in him. Hey, I'm a hot commodity. People are interested in me. But I really do like them locking up their coach. I think that he's been there for, some good runs in the playoffs for them. Kidd's previous contract extension came during the 2024 playoff run where the Los Angeles Lakers had interest in interviewing him. Seems like they are very interested in extending him when he starts drawing offers elsewhere. He's been the coach for a while now, right? He was a part of the previous era with Luka, of course. He was the coach there. And I think they had a pretty solid run, of course, making the finals, actually, the year before last at this point. So technically last year, but whatever. I think that's pretty well worth for him. He's only done like a 179, 149 record during his 4-year stint in Dallas, though. Made the conference finals. I was like, I know he did more than that. Made a conference finals. That's right. In 2022 as well. Okay. I think the best thing about this is the fact that they've got him locked up for the long term as seemingly the coach for Cooper, right? Now it's about AD, of course, right now. It's about maximizing what they have on this roster, this window that they have right now. They're wanting to win now, of course, all that stuff. And they view Kidd as the coach to get them over the hump. I mean, he's been, again, to the mountaintop, just wasn't able to win it. Anyway, he's been to the finals, just hasn't been able to win it. And they view Kid as the coach that can do that for them. I think he's shown that, but he also had a transcendent talent in Luka that was able to, do pretty amazing things in that stretch. So I think that's interesting too. But on the Cooper piece of it all, like there may be a time where Kid is no longer the coach, and then the second phase of Cooper's development and some of the other young guys' development is under another coach. But for now, for the immediate future, they trust Kid to be the guy for Coop as well, put him in the right position and help start his career on the right track. So that's pretty cool too. There is, some question that I have about Dallas's long-term structure, right? From ownership on down. But I do like when organizations try to get on the same page with everything and make sure that they have all this stuff in order. These guys are on similar contracts, everything like that. And the big thing about this is, remember on Nico said his window is now. He wants to win now. He's not thinking about the future. In so many words, he said these things. And I think on the Nico piece, he believes Kid is the guy to do the job as well. So that again, like I talked about, organizationally, they believe it, but Nico himself believes it. And I think Nico has a few different gambles ongoing right now. So we'll see what ultimately winds up happening in the next few years for Dallas. But hopefully you all enjoyed this video here on the Basketball Bulletin. Make sure you hit that thumbs up and subscribe if you happen to be new for more content. And watch our video from earlier today from Trevor Lane. It's on the screen right now. We'll see you over there.